Guess what, YouTube? Finally getting around to doing my Welding truck walk around. Highly requested video. So, on this gorgeous 40 mile an hour wind, overcast day out here on the plains of Kansas, let's get to it. I decided to bring this truck inside because you're not going to be able to hear me over the wind. The downside is it's going to be a little more difficult for me to show you the overall truck. I'm going to start up here at the front. And I guess by that, we will start with the engine. It's a DT 466. In other words, turbo diesel, 466 cubic inch displacement, inline 6. Awesome engine. This truck is manufactured in late 1980. It's considered 1981. The model number, however, is S1954. So that gets a little bit confusing when I go in to pay my insurance because they're like, the 81 truck or the 54? No, it was not made in 1954. Anyway, so love that engine. It will start without ether and without being plugged in down to about 10 degrees. Get much below that. I have started it as low as -5 Fahrenheit with just a quick shot of ether. I literally just went over to the intake, gave it a quick little shot, walked around, got in the cab, and started it. 10-speed transmission, non-overdrive behind it. Does have air brakes. And since this truck is rated under 26,000 pounds, it's 25,995 pounds according to the door. However, my insurance company tells me that that is not correct. The VIN comes back as 21,700 gross pounds. That's what it's rated at. That's not what it actually weighs. But anyway, because it is under 26,000 in the state of Kansas, anyway, I do not need to be air brake certified to drive it. Just a little tidbit of information. The reason I like that is I do have part-time help, and it's nice because I don't have to worry about them having a CDL or being air brake certified to drive this. Very nice. Fuel tanks. It did have twin 50-gallon tanks on it, which was way more than I needed. So I ended up taking the passenger side off, as you can see here, and I put a step there. I do plan on putting my air compressor tank right there, and not the truck brake air, but the stupid vertical air compressor I got right there. I want to put the tank there, and I'm not sure when to put the compressor head itself, but that's my plan. Talk about this oil-filled bumper, as we call them out here. And I was going to get rid of this bumper because I didn't like it sticking out that far. I wanted as much room when I'm getting into people's corrals to repair it as possible. But I have discovered that this bumper serves two great purposes. First, and most importantly, it's a great place to sit down and have lunch. And secondly, it keeps my radiator clean. I have never cleaned out this radiator since I bought this truck in 2011. And it is now 2017, so I've had it for a little over 6 years, and I attribute that to this bumper. It works as a nice little brush guard. Out here in Kansas, we have really tall grass and really tall weeds, and my F250 that I used on my welding truck before, whenever I'd go out on site and I had to drive through those weeds or grass, I'd have to come back and clean out the radiator because it'd just be full of seeds and leaves and everything. I have not cleaned out this radiator once on this truck. So this bumper really helps with that. So I'm going to leave it. I'm converting to LED lights. Really recommend doing that, especially if you have to deal with DOT. Next is my wonderful knuckle boom crane. It is an Atlas AK 3006. And there's the tag if you want to read the specifics on it. I thought this crane being able to lift 7,000 pounds would be more than enough for my needs. However, lifting 7,000 pounds is really close to the truck because that is 6 foot 3 inches away from the truck. However, that measurement goes from the center of the pivot there out. And that crane is about 3 foot in from the edge of the outrigger here, so I've only got about 3 foot past that to lift 7,000 pounds. Something that weighs 7,000 pounds is usually a little bit bigger than 3 foot. So I end up lifting a lot of times at the section that will lift 3,500 pounds, and that is not quite enough. I do quite often need to lift 5,000 pounds with her. So I do need a bigger knuckle boom crane. However, this crane is awesome. I love it. It has gotten me a lot of jobs. It is run off of a PTO pump down under here, which I have discovered I do not like. I would actually like to put it over onto the welder, have a hydraulic pump on the welder. And since we're here looking at the hydraulics, that is just simply a spare valve for whatever. I run my press, my hydraulic post hole digger, sometimes picking up farm implements, I need to raise a plow or whatever. So just have that there. I do not like having it as an add-on valve up there. I wish I could find another section to the crane bank here and add another valve to it. Also, the winch runs off of that. That's what the electric valve back there is. That controls the winch, which is a Tulsa winch. I do have a couple videos on rebuilding and installing that winch, which those videos are way too long. I do like this rolling cable tensioner. My problem is I don't have enough down pressure on it. And I saw one the other day that I really like the idea of. I don't know if it will work in real life. And they used an airbag to create the tension for the down pressure. I'm thinking I might try that out. I don't know. That's a pipe dream. So who knows if that'll ever happen. But the winch is a wireless remote, which is very, very nice. I really enjoy using that winch. However, because that winch is run off of the PTO pump, I do not like it. I don't mind having it run off the engine of the truck, but I hate that it's attached to the PTO because I step in on the clutch and it stops. Which most of the time for what I'm doing, the truck is stationary. But if I get myself stuck, it's really annoying because then when I step on the clutch to shift gears, if I'm trying to get unstuck, then the winch stops. So what I'd like to do is connect that to the power steering pump, because what I've read online, these winches are designed to run off the power steering pumps of these trucks, and I think that would work a whole lot better. Don't know. And since I'm standing right here, I put used military tires on the back of this thing. These tires are awesome in the mud. However, they are terrible on snow. They are like frickin' ice skates on snow. But they're cheap, so I don't know. I don't go out in the snow too often. However, during the winter, we do often get snow-packed roads out here. So even though there may not be snow on the ground out in the pastures, the corrals where I'm going, the roads are still snow-packed. So a lot of times if I know that, I just put on the tire chains. The welder, it's a Lincoln SA250. According to the serial number, it was made in 1991. This thing actually came from the Williams Gas Company out of St. Louis, if you're familiar with them. The story I got from the guy I bought it from said this welder sat in the shop at the Williams Company and they would test their employees on this thing. That's all it got used for, supposedly. And I think I believe it because this thing starts really easy. It seems to be in really good shape. It seems to be low hours. There is an hour meter over here, but it's broken. The welder I had before this one was an old Hobart welder that I really loved with a Willys flathead Jeep engine on it. That was an awesome welder, but it drank a gallon and a half, almost 2 gallons of gas an hour. This welder drinks about half a gallon of diesel an hour. So huge difference in fuel consumption. I did put a generator on the side of it. The only reason I ended up putting that on there was to run my plasma cutter. And that's basically all it does run. And I needed to redo that. My laundry list of stuff I have to do this truck is absurdly long. But I need to move this welder back just a few inches because I'm slightly nose heavy on my truck right now. And, you know, that welder weighs just a little over 1,700 pounds. Moving that back just a few inches would make a huge difference on the nose of this thing. The crane is where it's at because when I bought this truck, the crane was actually here at the front of the bed. It was right up against this bed here. And it didn't work for loading things onto the bed because as is, the crane still reaches too far back on the bed. So that's why I moved it forward like that. It's a little bit of an annoyance because if I stand here at the controls, I don't have a good clear shot of the bed. But if I just reach way out and around, stand over here, the arm's length, I can see just fine. I really love this possum that I put on here. I actually want to add a second one. I'm thinking back here. I built this toolbox. Well, actually I built that toolbox as well. I do have a video on the build of this toolbox if you want to see it. Got lots of plans for this truck, including adding gin poles and a rolling tailboard. A couple more toolboxes. Move that air compressor. Oh, I should show you the inside real quick, I guess, huh? There's the inside. She's obviously not pristine interior anymore, but, you know, I'm out walking around in cow poop most days anyway, so what's it matter if I've got a nice interior, right? She gets me down the road, keeps the wind out pretty well, and pretty well keeps the rain out of it. There you go. All right. If you have any questions, please let me know. Hopefully I didn't miss anything too big. I feel like I missed something. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been requested many times that I do this, and I finally got around to doing it. All right, y'all. See you in the next video.